not aesthetically pleasing, so I think even if we start there, we need to do something. Anybody else?
So the idea is to figure out when you're leaving as well as when you're coming.
Personally, eventually, I'd love to start with welcome signs, monument signs, and eventually have wayward, police department this way, and have uniform signs throughout the city, so you know, not just when you're coming and going, but when you're in the city, and just creates that identity for our city.
And I'd just say, Mike and Bobby, having missed that meeting, the key word that jumped out at me in that presentation was differentiation, where you set yourself and your city and your community apart from everybody else. And signage and consistent signage and look and color is one way that you could do that. So it's
And we already,
definitely important for the future.
we already have, if you look at our buildings here, we already have a consistent theme, at least with our government buildings, with the red brick and the beige, I don't know what it's called, stone. And then we're known for the stone, the granite stone, and so that's, I think, where those sketches that Mr. Davis did kind of played into that.
Whatever we do, it needs to be bold. Gwinnett Place had nice signs, but you couldn't see them. They had, the landscaping had grown up behind it, and the colors that they chose they just blended in. So we were looking for them. John was saying, I would have missed it. I would not have seen it. And then when we went into Duluth, they have that center of town, so they're kind of obvious. After John took us through, I was really looking for them, but they were all very different. I thought I was going to be overwhelmed with Swanee signs, and I wasn't. They're their signs, and it goes with their town center. I wasn't impressed with them. They were small. I'm old, but I can't see that little bitty print. I'm like, and so whatever we do has to have color, even if it's red brick or the facade. And you have to remember the streetscape. And if you're going to put it somewhere and then you're going to put all your shrubbery around it, don't let that shrubbery override it, because you'll miss it. The pictures that I've seen from John and about the signs were very bold, and they were big, and I think they're going to be good. I think you're going to be able to see them. But not only do we need to concentrate on the signage, but we need to concentrate on what's going to go around it. Because that's either going to take away from it, or it's going to frame it.
They need to be
And
landscaped.
At one point,
The entrances, they definitely need to
They
be
definitely,
landscaped.
but.
and at one point in time, the Summit Chase Garden Club had volunteered that they would do landscaping and maintain the landscaping. I mean, obviously, we have a public works department that is very capable of doing it, but that may be something to consider as
It's
well.
just something to think about. Don't you get this nice sign and then it just blends in with the woodwork.
We could hire one of those spinner sign guys. to point it.
Don't tell John.
They're illegal tomorrow morning.
Diane, that was almost the case in every place we went.
Mhm.
I mean, the signs I liked the best were Lawrenceville's, actually.
I did too. They were
The L.
big.
And, but that's one thing that I've done in the past. The most visible combination of colors are black and yellow.
No, 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 no.
Now,
No,
wait a
no, 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 no.
Let me finish. And what I did in Dalton was I didn't go with yellow, but I went with gold, green and gold. And if you've got, and we've got South Gwinnett that's blue over here. Blue and gold looks pretty dang good, and it's visible. So that's to be decided in the future. But I'm telling you, those colors blended too well, I think, with every city we went to. And I know John is partial to Norcross, but even there, it was tough to pick it out. If I'm going 50 miles an hour down,
If you're going
East
50 miles an hour, you'll
Street
be discussing it with our police.
but you gotta pick the right
Let me
colors.
ask you a follow-up question on this one. If this agenda item becomes to be a part of future discussions, and you're working on the budget, what do we anticipate, or is there any discussion, or is there any thought process behind the money associated with these signs?
I think you'll have to, Lawrenceville spent like $300,000 on theirs and their wood.
I think we're looking at the next SPLOST, or picking up some, you know, hotel motel tax in the future, so.
But it doesn't mean we can't start doing it now.
Yeah, get your design.
You can do it up here, get the design.
You start with the design and the plan.
The thing you have to remember is it's budget driven. It's, you know, what do you want to spend on the sign and how do you want it to look? So, you know, we can do a really nice $500,000 sign if you want to, I have. That's probably a little bit of an overkill. You can do a really nice sign for about $10,000 or $12,000. Most of the ones that you saw were probably in that 10 to 15 range.
And we don't have to do them all at once.
Well, at one time, we got asked for $50,000.
That was for
That was for
two
two
monument
installations.
signs.
And there were a variety in each city. Not only did you have your entering the city monument sign, but you had your wayfinder sign. And then I noticed that Lawrenceville has, I think it was Lawrenceville, had big P's on these signs. I thought, what are these P's for? You know? It was parking. After I looked at where they were, you know, it was parking. And I thought, there's, once you get your main signs in, there's a variety of signage that you could put. It's landscaping.
One, and some cities did theirs all at one time, which there's a good argument for that, but there's nothing that says you have to do it all at one time. You can do the monument sign and then the wayfinder.
You know, maybe we could do a little street art. I always miss, you go to the town green, everybody can go to the town green, and it's great when there's something happening, it's great, but if you go there, there's not a bench to sit on. There's, I like to just come and sit. You know, I have time to come and sit. But there's no benches, I just bring a lawn chair. But it would be nice to have a bench somewhere.
What does that do with signs?
It doesn't, I just said it was kind of the streetscape that goes after the signage.
Or you can put a bench with a sign.
It's kind of
All right, so moving on then to the city logo branding, we talked about this a couple meetings ago. Again, this gets back to creating identity for our city. And a little bit along Mr. Sanders' lines, although over my dead body would it be yellow and gold. I mean, like
Okay, then I need to go on the record now, no snails.
Yeah, over my dead body snails.
While we're all over our dead body, let's go ahead and get that on
And
the record.
especially
You
now.
know-
Please understand my whole point.
No, just, the director of Georgia Tourism thinks snails are wonderful.
No, he doesn't. He
Whimsical.
thinks
Yes,
they're-
they're
You think they're whimsical?
He
No,
thought that the painted snail sculptures was a great idea.
good for him. That looks too
It is
good.
for Lawrenceville.
But, anyway, moving on with our city council logo branding, we do, I think, we are struggling with an identity crisis. I talked last time, we showed you the different logos, even though we've adopted the where everybody's somebody, where everybody's proud to be somebody, we still have striving for the highest, and then, I'm gonna bring the other one with us, we have 4 out there still. But I think we need to start maybe with some official colors, and whether we want to go along with and adopt the South Gwinnett cluster colors that the schools have, whether that will offend the other school districts in the city, even though they're not actually located in the city limits. But what we would want, I mean, we have the nice jackets, but they're all, you know, if you look every year, we have a different color blue. We have our city flag, different color blue. So I think we at least need to get some consistency in what we want our city colors to be.
Does anyone in the room have, Kelly, do you have that the thing that you showed me through staff the other day?
What thing?
The magnet.
Oh, the magnet.
Do you have one with you?
Would you like me to come down?
Please.
Yeah. And blue and gold, it does look good together.
For all the tech fans.
This is something that staff is thinking about, but if we, and we've seen it before, I mean, just not in this
Yellow jackets.
variation, but if staff's with it, and we're the city's with it, then I think it'd be something associated with the city. It's just a cupola, but the way they've done it is rather nice, but, you know, if everything in the city that's that's associated with the city, including STAT, it has that emblem on it that's gonna go further and help brand it. Brand the city. Should bring it in. I thought it was pretty neat. But I agree that we have 7 shades of blue. I mean, everything's different. We do need one. I'm partial navy blue person. Dexter and I are right, Dexter? We're all for navy blue, right? In the Navy?
Blue, navy blue.
And so while we're waiting for that, do we want to just come up with our own shade of blue? Or do we want to try to tie into the school systems?
I don't know what color blue, South Gwinnette's not really a deep blue though. If you're gonna use gold with it, you want almost, you really do want, not just
They're
saying,
blue and
but,
silver, yeah.
yeah, you really want a dark blue to contrast with the gold, am I right?
Didn't we, John, you did a little research to come up with the template color of what we had.
Yeah.
Are there, that's pretty close right there.
Mm-hmm.
But the, are we not, do we want to change from that blue that we've been using in the logo, on the letterhead, or go with it?
Clean.
So the color, we have this color blue that we have in our seal. Do we want to adopt that maybe as our official blue? Or we want to go lighter than
Mine's
that?
black and white,
Mine's
so I
black.
can't see it.
That'll be a good one.
Let's see.
You got you. I think maybe it's a
This
little
is
bit
black and
dark.
white too, darling. Oh, the inside is.
I think it's a little bit darker.
It's a little bit darker than that, but that's close. Like the same color blue that's in the field
Yeah,
with
that's
the, on the
going
Star
royal.
Stripes.
Maybe go navy instead of the royal.
So how about this, can staff maybe come up with 3 different shades of that and bring it to us for the next council meeting so we can look at them? And maybe pair it with the gold so we can see what it would look like. Bigger version so we can see.
For the old people.
Yeah, that back.
And then, well, I was gonna
Oh,
ask,
okay.
then, so right now, are you saying instead of this with the leaves that you like this better, so there's some consistency?
I think it's simpler, it's cleaner. Yeah, personally, but I'm one person, I'm not.
Yeah, I think, this is too busy as far as I'm concerned. I think you need something that's simple and clean, where it'll work on anything. Because you get something like this, and you put it on cloth and you lose some resolution, it doesn't look
It's
quite.
expensive to reproduce.
The only thing I don't like about this, and I know it's on our city hall, is the piece sticking up.
You can take it off.
I think we chopped it on ours, I don't
The
know.
what?
When you embroider, it just kinda looks odd.
You need pretty good there with a chainsaw. Yes. Huh.
I don't see it.
The little,
So we'll do that.
Alright, so we'll put that back to Tom.
We'll come up with
We'll
several
put that on
options.
our future agenda.
Okay.
you either need to make it bigger or take it off.
Yeah, it's not on the jacket y'all did, but I think we have an old one and it had like a little point on
Yeah, I
it.
guess it all depends on how it's digitized,
Yeah.
because if it's thick enough,
See, that's very
it'll
clean.
look.
But we're going with a blue.
I got you, buddy. That's real clean. She hasn't bought the blue one yet, so she got the black and white.
This one's red.
Yeah,
Black and yellow is just yield, it's not stopping.
This isn't blue.
Oh, it stopped. Oh, that's right. Red and white stopped.
That's not blue?
Blue and yellow's pretty good too.
Alright, economic development update.
Mayor and council members, I put some information on you. I guess parallel to the mayor's efforts, Nick and I had several conversations last week about an economic development ordinance. The city really needs to move toward adopting one in a shorter time frame than longer, so I've provided you with a couple of additional samples there. Other than that, I'll just mention the DDA meetings are both going to be, DDA and URMA meetings are both March 21st. And just for your radar, the Georgia Department of Economic Development and the Georgia Economic Developers Association at their August meeting on August 19th. They're going to be focusing on small business development. I will be a presenter at that, and I will be nominating a couple of Snellville businesses, hopefully to be honored at that event.
When was the date for that?
August 19th, it's on,
Oh, it's on here. Okay,
it's
I'm
on there
sorry.
right there for you. I'll let you know more as that moves forward and if those businesses are actually selected to be honored. But like I said, I will be a featured presenter at that event, and we will be showcasing small business and entrepreneurship. It's just an event for the city to continue to move forward with its image as an entrepreneur and small business friendly community.
Any questions for Eric? Thank you, Eric. LCI update?
We continue to stay in close communication with DOT and trying to get that final go-ahead so we could bid the project.
Okay, any questions about the LCI? All right, we will be in adjournment until 7:30.